Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, and happy Friday. We've got the next 4 stages, which is stages 80 to 83 of the Hachette Parkworks release to build the Spitfire Mark 1A. Now in these stages, we're actually going to be doing the mechanism for the motors that are going to do the banking of the Spitfire. Now you've seen that just in the introduction video there. That's what we're going to be creating. Now I didn't realise while I was doing this build that I need to stand, so I have actually got that over there. It's a big thing, it is. And we're actually going to be creating these. As you see, I've done this introduction after the event because I've already built it. For that reason, I have to give an apology for stage 83. In stage 83, a little bit of a car crash happens. So you'll see that when you see this video. And also, I apologise for innuendos. But, you know, it's not the World of Wayne channel without them. Anyway, listen, without further ado, let's get cracking. In stage 80, as you can see here, we've got our first motor here, which we're going to be putting a sticker on, and that's it. So stage 80 is a nice easy one. So I've got that here. These are very big motors. I mean, look at my hand and how big that is in there. We've got the sticker to put on, and this says ML. So I'll just get this off, and then once again, I'm not going to take this off the cable tie at the moment, because I don't know when we're actually putting this onto the base. But that's all there is to do in that stage. Now, a lot more things to do in 82. We're actually going to make our first mechanism here. So you can see there's absolutely tons of parts in here. So we're going to actually put this together, linking it up. I don't know if we link the motor. We do link the motor to this. So we do have one working piston, if you like, that we will eventually put in the base. Not sure where it goes yet, but we'll have a look at that. So because we get similar things in both of these stages, I don't know if I've got the right stage here. I'm hoping I have. But I'm just going to put this to one side because it is going to be a repetitive stage. Okay, so the first thing we need is this screw system here. This is metal, just so you know. Now, on the two ends that we've got here, we've got a longer end, which is actually shaped like that, and a shorter end like that. We've got a bearing to put over the top. This is what the bearing looks like. That's just going to fit over the top like that. We then want to take this section here and we're going to be putting this into the base section here. Now this is just going to screw in. So I'm going to screw it. You don't have to screw it too much, just enough to hold it into place. I've just left it so there's a little bit at the bottom there. And then we're going to be taking the large rod. This is what the plane is eventually going to be settled on. Now you've got a small end and you've got a larger end looking like that. The larger end is going to be facing upwards. So we want the small end to be facing down there. We've then got this top cap to put on here, probably best on the top camera. That's going to go over the top of this section and it's going to cover that bearing to make one complete unit there. Now from the underside of this, because obviously this isn't held in place, we're going to be holding it in place with a PWB screw. That's the flange screws. So you can see the hole there. Let's get that in. And there we go, that's nice and secure in there. So once we've got that, put that to one side. And we're going to be working on encasing the motor now. So the first part we need looks just like this. We want it this way round so that these areas are facing down. And into the two lugs there, we're going to be putting this base section in over the top, facing outwards from the main design. So it's going to fit just over these lugs just there. Going to sit in like that. That's going to be held in with 2 times 5mm screws. So one that side. And just one on the other side there. Once we've got that, we're then going to be taking the section that we just created, and that's actually going to be fitting into this channel. Now before we put this in, we want this screw to be far enough that the tab, I'm just turning it around a little bit more, that the tab here is going to be going down the slot of this section here. So I think that's going to be ample. So I put this edge here into the channel there, like this. Excellent. And then I'm going to take this top section, make sure that that tab fits through, and then lock that into place. So now this is free to go up and down within the limits of this channel here. We're going to hold that into place with 4 2x5 PB screws. So that's the first one in, one this side, excellent, and then just 2 on the other 2 holes here. We then got a base section here which needs 2 screws as well. Once again, they're the 2 times 5mm screws. So one in this side. As you can see, this is pretty securely held in now. This isn't going anywhere. And just one in the other side here. So if I add some pressure to this, when I undo it, just so you can see, it goes out. And then if I push it in using gravity, and then I make the thread go this way, it starts to rise in. That's the principle of how this is going to work. So the next thing to do is take the almightily big motor that we had from the last stage. We're going to be putting that into place. That's going to go in this way here, so that the nuts, so the holes line up with the holes either side there. And that's going to be held in with 2 of the PBW screws. They're the flange screws. One this side, and one just the other side here. Excellent. Now that's in place, at the bottom here we're going to start putting some gears. So the first gear looks like this. Doesn't really matter what way round it goes, they're going to do the same job. They've both got the same sort of distance between the centre part here, so I'm going to put mine on this way. Push that all the way down. Now you want it so that the shaft is actually coming out the other side there. And talking of shafts, we've got a little one here that we're going to be putting just into this hole just at the back there, like that. And that's going to be supporting another gear, and that's this one here. As you can see, it's got a smaller gear at the bottom of it, so we want to put this face down to engage with this one. So just lining that up, make sure the teeth have engaged, which they have there, no problems at all. And then we've got the smaller gear here. This one does seem to have a higher lip on this side compared to the other side, so I want to make sure this one fits up. That's just going to go on the base of this thread here, so I want to make sure that's perfectly engaged in there. So I'm going to put this down a level that when I put it in, the teeth will mesh into that. So put this in here, so much so that it's actually kind of resting on the plastic there, but that's as far down as I can get that. Now you know you've got this absolutely right, because when we put the top on, it should fit quite flush in there. So I'm just going to line this up just like that, and this is going to be held in with 4 screws. Once again, they are the 2 times 5mm screws. So I'll get a couple of these in. Did I say a couple? I mean 4. So I've just put the 2 diagonals in first, and then just the ones on this side here. So just to recap, if you look around the edge of that, that should be nice and flush with no gaps in there, like that. And that's how you know everything is seated in place. So that's in quite sturdy now. That's only going to operate when the motor here turns to make that go up and down. So we have got some parts left over. We've got this little plastic thing here. We've got a sticker, and it looks like we've got some limiting switches here, which either operate it as they go on. I'm guessing that's what they do, but there's some switches here. But that's all there is to do in that stage. So that brings me to stage 82, and as you can see, nice easy one for this one, although we are going to be connecting some switches to this one that we just had. So we're going to be connecting this up to the motor, and then, oh look, I didn't even realise this, I am going to have to bring down the base to actually assemble this into its first position here. I didn't think I had to do that, but yep, I've got to do that, so I'll have to go get that in a second. Let's work on with what we've got to do at the start though. So we've got another motor here. I will take the tab off this time. And this time I'm going to be putting on MR, that's what the label says. Then we're going to need the switches that we had and the label that we had last time. This one says SR. Perhaps that stands for switch right side. I don't know. I do speculate these things. They're only wrapping it around one wire, which is quite an interesting thing, rather than two. So they're putting it around the red wire there. So that's on like that. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this switch here, which is attached to the red cable, and this is just going to go into the lug that you can see just at the top there. Now when we put this in, it's going to go in this way here. So when this channel comes up, it's going to operate that switch, as you can see there, and it's going to limit how far up it can go. We need to secure this in place. Let me just put it back there with a screw just down that section there, and that's a 1.7 by 6mm screw. And that's one of the longer screws that we had in the last stage. So I've got that here, and I'll put that all the way in. So now that is locked in place, making sure that it's not going to interfere with this as it goes up. Should be absolutely fine. Looks good. So when this goes up, as you can see, it's going to operate that switch like that, which means we've got to put one at the bottom there in a similar fashion. That's the black one here. That's just going to go down into this section here. It's already operated because mine's already at the bottom now, and once again held in with one of the large screws. So that goes in here. And that's in place. So when that goes back down, as you can see, it's already operated that switch. That switch has already been activated. When that goes up, that's going to lift up. And then at the top of this, we've just got this little rubbery section here, which I'm guessing the plane's only just going to sit on. We don't have to actually physically attach it, which is a good thing. So if you didn't want to use the stand, you could pretty much, you know, have the plane on its own static, so the propellers work and the lights work. This is only just to control the banking and the elevation and that sort of thing of it. Which means now I'm going to need to get the stand. So I've got no idea what the sound's like. I'm using my new iPhone here, but I've come over to the workstation because it's far too big to be putting over there. So let's show you what we've got to do. So quite simply, we want to have the board this way round. So we've got these sections here where the lugs were coming through the base here. So it's this one here, not the ones with the screws, this one. And the motor is going to be going in this way, so the motor's actually nearest to this edge over here, and we're actually going to be putting it over the lugs that we had in here, just like that. Now this is going to be held in with 4 screws just on each of these corners here. So that's in nice and tight. Just got my top here that's going to go on, and that looks just like that. That's the first motor in place. So if I switch the angles now, that's how that should look. And I'm guessing we got a few more of these to put in. To be honest with you, looking at this base, this seems to be the working area of those mechanics. So all the stuff around the outside, I'm guessing is going to be for the diorama when we have the base on top here. So if you did want to really mod this and make this smaller, I suppose you could. So the last stage, stage 83, is a mirror of what we've done a couple of stages ago. We're going to be creating the next housing for the next motor section and pistons to drive this up. So we'll get this done. Of course, the question is, can I remember what I did last time? Most importantly, I'm just opening the screws. Make sure you keep the screws, because obviously these are used to attach this housing to the base. But if I remember what we did last time, we're going to be taking the metal thread, putting the bearing at the top, taking the base here and securing this down. Look, I'm whizzing through this, just to about there. Then we're going to be taking the plastic rod, and with the larger side facing up, we're going to be putting this inside this cavity, holding that in with a PWB screw, which is one of the flange screws. You know what, talking about challenging myself, I'm not actually looking at any of the instructions. I'm hoping I can get this done, make sure it's in nice and tight, without doing it. We'll see. Then we've got the top to put on, which is going to house the bearings. This goes on this way, and then the bearing will fit in there like that. We're going to be putting this section, let me find the right one, here, this way round, and we're actually going to be putting the back of the housing on top like that, and that's going to be held in by 2 times 5mm screws. Got them here, one in this side. If you're unsure what the 2 times 5mm screws are in these, just so you know, they look like the thinner black ones. And there's the second one in place. Then we're going to align this so that, obviously, I'm going to put this in enough here. As you can see, I'm making it go up so that this tab will fit inside the back housing when I put that on. So that's in place there. We've got the back housing here. That's going to go on this way over the top. Make sure that all connects together and that tab there is through, which it is. And once again, we're going to be holding that in with the 2 times 5mm screws. God, I'm doing good here. You only have to show me once and you just know that I'm going to have an almighty cock up now where I forgot to do something, but well, we'll see. There's the second one. Oh, I spoke too soon, didn't I? The camera decided to jump off my monitor. Oh, you know what, I'm just going to keep quiet. I think that's the best way to get through this. That's one for the blooper reel, isn't it? There's the third one, and lastly, I've got the fourth one here, and that's just going in this side. We've got 2 more to put in, and they just go down on these bottom sections here and here. So one in this side, and one in the other side. Excellent. Then I'm going to take the motor that we worked on previously. That's just going to go on top like this. So one in this side. These are the longer ones, just so you know. There's 2 kinds. You've got long and thin. You know what, I'm not even going to complete the rest of that sentence. There we go, and that's that motor in place. We can turn it back this way because we're going to start putting in the gears now. So this is the first gear. That's going to go in there just like this, making sure we follow the shape of the motor, push it all the way down so we can see that on the other side there. The second gear is going to have a little shaft in here that's going to go into the top, making sure it's this way round. I'm going to put that down to engage that. There we go, that's fully engaged. And then lastly, taking the smaller one with the rim higher up, facing up, put this over here, make sure that engages as well, which that one has. Pushing that down a bit more. Excellent. And then we can just put the cover on. Held in with the 2 times 5mm screws, and we need 4 of those. So that's 1. Do some down the base here. 2, 3, and 4. So that's all in place, and then that's just going to leave the lead or the switch, a label for the switch, and then the top, which is going to go in here. So I need to keep all of those safe, including all the screws that I've got left over. But that's all there is to do in these 4 stages. Well, that was interesting. I really didn't realise we had to get the base down. But if you're unsure about the base, look, I'm going to move this camera around. You can see just how big that is over on the workstation there. Absolutely ginormous. But I've just seen that though, and I do think that can be cut down. But you'll be a brave person if you want to try that. Anyway, on that note, we've done motors and electrics. I'm guessing we're going to have probably another 2 of those to do. But I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. If you're in the UK, be safe celebrating bonfire night tonight, or fireworks night, or Guy Fawkes night, and keep safe. Other than that, take care.